Welcome to the Takeoff Podcast, the go-to construction podcast for construction professionals seeking inspiration, education, or motivation for the next steps in their career. Each Monday, you'll be joined by me, Mick Donaghy, Managing Director of Getting Executive Recruitment and a respected name from the industry. A construction leader, a business owner, or someone in the thick of the action. The whole premise of this podcast is for you to get something from it. An idea, a connection, a mentor, whatever it is, I hope you get it. And I hope you enjoy the show. Without further ado, let's get into it. I always wonder about that as well, right? How can they put a quote on a haircut when they don't know the size of your head? Yeah, like if your head's massive, then I'd be going, mate, that's going to be $50.
You need a first principles barber.
Fact.
Estimating from square inch.
100%. See, I want them to come in and then they give you a price and then have a look at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Get
they
the
go,
measuring tape out.
The cross-eyed guy, because he can look around the side of your head from the back. Do you know what I mean?
You know what they need? One of them scanners, you know them Trimble scanners that the surveyors use.
I was getting my hair cut in Sydney once, right? And these boys knew what they were doing. They were like, I don't know, Greek fellas or something like that. And
just another nation to cut your hair.
But what they done is they go $35, right? It starts off at $30 or something like that, right? Yeah. But in the small print it says two lengths or two
like lengths of cut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And some yank comes in like, "Hey guys," sits down in the barbershop, and then and then he goes up and is like $60.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you mean? Like it says 35 up on the things." Yeah, but he's like, "Yeah, but we used a 1, 2, 3, and a 4." And I was like, "That's smart, lad." Do you know what I mean? He's throwing in a package.
Know what they should do? The barber should do like a taxi meter. That would be intense. You'd be sitting in the chair watching the meter go up, and you're only halfway through your haircut. That'd be a good TV show.
That would be unreal. You know what I love watching? Really weirdly, like when randomers go into like tourists will go into like a Mumbai her like a barber shop, and get the whole works, and it costs them like 5p, like 5 cents, and they're getting their head like kicked in. They do head massage and everything, and like.
That was like us one night. I tried to go into an African barbers on K Road and turned me away.
Well,
wasn't cool enough.
You're not the right shade.
No.
But another thing as well is that like with barbershops, it's quite an intimidating place, isn't it? Like you know where it's even more intimidating in America, right? They put you on the swivel chair. And in this swivel you around, so you're looking at the mirror, right?
Right.
And then you're happy enough. You're like, yep, it's all going well.
And then they put the back of the mirror.
Then they swivel you around.
No
right?
way.
And then you're looking at the next customers.
No way.
Swear to God.
I'd have the eyes shut. No, I couldn't do that.
I was in where was it? It was like somewhere in California, and. I've only had my hair cut a couple of times in America, and they've been absolutely weird every single time. I got my hair cut in the gay capital of the world. What do you call that place? San Francisco. There's a place called, is it Capitol Hill or something like that? Or right, but it is. You know how it's gay? Because the Irish bar is just full of gay men. We got to our Airbnb, and our Airbnb door was painted in the rainbow color, and I went, right. Went to get a coffee. There was a fella walking up the street in a thong, and that's it, right?
Unreal.
Then we're sitting having a coffee, and another fella runs in and goes to my mate Anton, goes, "I would slay you," right? And we were like, Jesus, right? We're like, where are we? We're like, then we could see an Irish tricolour and went, right, bit of respite. Let's go in there and save, right?
A few pints.
That walks in, and there's a few big cuddly bears there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
big
like
daddies.
No joke. Like honestly, he was trying to grab me by the hip and everything, and I was like, lad, no thanks, bro. I was like, I need out of here, right? And obviously love gay people, but I'm like, I don't want to go down that route myself. You know what I mean? But then we got into the taxi, and we were like, mate, this is when I was single, 2015, 2016, and I said that we were taxi drivers, like, mate, just take us somewhere where there's loads of girls, right?
But funny enough, sometimes that is the places that you're talking about there now.
But the gay bars? Yeah, no,
they
but
love it.
But this was different vibe. This is total different energy.
Yeah.
He brought us to a country bar, like a country and western bar.
Nice.
And I am not joking. If you're a fella and you wanted to go somewhere, this is the place to go. All the girls were all doing like woo and like taking their hats off and dancing around.
Bit of square dancing.
Mate, it was hilarious. There was a South African guy there, and he was like, "I was supposed to go home 2 weeks ago." He's like, "I'm still here." I don't know why he's from Texas.
That's a long stay he had.
yeah, it was a long stay. He loved the brisket. But yeah, I don't know how we get on that, but. It's barbershops are.
I think they should operate as like estimators do.
First principles.
First principles cut, and they put the meter on. So like it starts at 35, but then a couple of variations. It goes up to 60.
You have to negotiate them.
Yeah, you negotiate. Yeah. So a bit of bargaining on the seat.
Men are definitely different though. I get my haircut nearly every maximum 10 days.
I'm at 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks.
100%.
Yeah.
It's more maintenance.
It is. You know what's even more maintenance when you're getting your head shaved?
Yeah.
You've literally got to go flat out all the time.
Every 6 days.
Or else
you start look like a little duckling.
Or
you get those little spritey hairs.
I was about to say like an old mushroom. you know, like you go out them like your grass and there's all these mushrooms in the grass.
When a lollipop falls on the carpet and you lift it up, has all those little hairs on it. That's what you look like.
That's so true. Yeah. But a candy floss.
Down the back of the sofa. Oh.
I know, but a candy floss.
Yeah.
Fact. Yeah. But they're missing a trick there. Barbershops 100% need to level up. But the problem is, like, the day that I walked in and the guy with the cross-eyed goes, "Take a seat." That was brave for me. You know, that was brave.
I mean, you're a braver man than I am. What's his name?
I actually don't know. He just calls me boss and I call him bro. That's it. And he goes, "See you in a week, boss." And I go, "Yeah, cheers, bro." And he's an absolute legend, though. Oh, he did give me an absolute El Dorado there about 2 weeks ago. Like, what's that? What you ever see on your beard and his wee thin line?
Oh my, a chin strap.
Yeah, like a pair of skipping ropes.
Oh my god.
He did. I felt like I was in one of those friggin' Mexican films. I mean, like the start of Pimp My Ride. Hey man, yeah, it's gonna look really, really good, man. Yeah. So what else has been going on in the world of construction? It's a big. You know what? I've noticed QS opportunities in Australia have just dropped like a lead balloon.
Completely dropped off. I don't think I've worked. Have we had a QS job on?
Not a non-crap one.
Yeah. not ones that haven't been on for the last 2 years.
Yeah, a non-crap QS role.
We haven't, no.
Like, you get these ones, oh yeah, I love a guy who can do tax depreciation and like literally...
Bank funding and...
literally, there isn't a head in Australia that wants to do that.
I know.
Because, like, it's such a real specialist role. It's basically like a version of accountancy nearly, you know, where it's nearly like a bolt on to the QS, the quantity surveying position.
Yeah.
But no one wants to do it.
I think you put up something recently which was quite true, was I think maybe we had always spoke about maybe the move to consultancy, a bit more of a work-life balance, you know, versus an estimator. And now it's like, it seems like it's almost caught up, if not slightly overtook it, with consultancies obviously getting a little bit tight at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, people are obviously working on billable hours and it's becoming long days. Obviously, estimating has its own challenges from deadline point of view, and obviously they're tasked with you know, competitive tenders to actually drive revenue and win work and bring money to the business. But the QS game now seems to be a lot of burnout, and a lot of people are like, you know, get me out of here, you know.
You know what? Well, I'll read out some of the stuff here from yesterday. I put up in the WhatsApp group that we have about is estimating a thankless task, because someone said to me completely thankless, right? That is just hopeless, like, isn't it? Like, really? The word thankless, and you go, right, depends on the company you work for, but this is someone who responded, depends on the company you work for, but in general, yes, it is thankless. If it's a loss on a trade package, there's not enough in the budget. If there's a win on a trade package, it's brilliant negotiating from the project team. There's only been a few occasions where, as an estimator, you're congratulated for producing great budgets. The first fault with when an estimator wins a job is, what have I left out? Right? Like, I actually didn't think about that. I was like, if you win a project as an estimator, your immediate reaction is, oh shit.
Yeah.
What did I not
anxiety.
price?
Why have I won this?
That is mad, isn't it? Hi guys, the Takeoff podcast is proud to be sponsored by RIB Software, the home of leading construction software such as RIB CostX, RIB Candy, RIB CX and more. RIB Software provides solutions to manage all aspects of your construction project lifecycle, including estimating, collaboration, project controls and more. RIB products have been pioneers in the industry for many years. In fact, this year, RIB is celebrating 20 years of RIB CostX. From the very first release of version 1.0 in 2004 in Brisbane, Australia, RIB CostX is now being used in over 100 countries around the world to help customers build better every day. And we have a special offer for listeners. If you quote the Takeoff podcast when purchasing an RIB CostX subscription in Australia or New Zealand, you'll receive a free online CostX training course. So visit the website now at www.rib-software.com. That's www.rib-software.com. When you think about it,
that's crazy. Yeah, I've never thought about with that sort of angle, because obviously you're doing whatever you can to win it, but when you do, that's shocking.
Yeah,
that's someone's reaction.
Someone else has written, thankless probably depends on a person's point of view. There would be no estimators if those of us involved in the role thought of it that way. It's about the type of work you're pricing, talking to subbies and suppliers in the market, doing takeoffs, thinking about how it's going to be built, putting programs together, and the submission. If you're the poor soul responsible for the whole thing. Most people don't understand the full scope of the role, and with some clients like defence, the submission itself is a massive task and involves a big team putting it together, with the estimator often being the champion. So your post about estimators and how key they are to builders, Mick, is entirely accurate. We need a dual education program about estimating and quantity surveying, as they're both misunderstood beings.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's some paragraph to read. I bet you if someone seen him text that, he would like, he's in trouble with the missus. That's an absolute paragraph.
He's like, I honestly didn't mean to forget about the bins.
He's just talking about estimating.
Yeah.
That's what they're like, though. But that's insane to think that that's maybe someone's initial reaction when they win a project. You would think it's pure glee, joy, and like, yes, it's a big win for us or whatever, and it's pure anxiety.
Do you think it is better to win a small project or a big project as an estimator? Like if you're winning, say, $500K to $2 million jobs, and you're smart, that turnover's coming into the business quite regularly, or do you go, I want a $20 million to $100 million job? What would you rather like?
I don't know. It depends depends on the estimator, doesn't it? What are they motivated by? Are they motivated by bringing consistent revenue, which is the backbone of a business? Those small wins, but then you probably have less room for margin on them smaller projects, so you have to be absolutely bang on. I would suspect. Or do you want your name, attached to a big sexy project? I
did read something there the other day on the comments saying, like, everyone wants to go into the building side, like the delivery side, because they can drive past the building with their grandkids and be like, your grandfather built that.
Yeah.
But like, it's not the same when you're like, yeah, your grandfather tendered for that and became second on the bid.
But he done a good job.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same, like, is it?
It's not, but I did put a post up there recently about, like, and I do genuinely think that the attitudes towards estimators are changing a lot. Because
you think so?
I think so, yeah. And
from who?
From contractors, from people in the industry. Because like, everyone thinks of construction, they think boots and on the ground hard hats or design drawings or getting a job done, the delivery team. But estimators are becoming more and more, I think, recognised in the market, and because they're not just focused on the costing as well, which is quite interesting. They're becoming a lot more diverse in what they deliver from a tender point of view. Those real important non-price attributes that are really are just as important as the cost is how we're going to get it done.
Yeah.
So I think the attitudes are definitely changing. And well, I'm just that recent post I put up. I don't really post that much on LinkedIn. Got like 6 or 7 shares from like recognized people in the industry and people you wouldn't maybe associate with having that outlook.
You know why? Because you're in an echo chamber. So you're
What?
because you know what you're doing. You know what an echo chamber is?
No,
What do you think it is?
you can hear an echo,
Well, you're in a chamber,
right?
and you're the only voice in that chamber, right? So you're hearing yourself, right? Because
you think because I said it.
No. I'm not. What I'm trying to say is because we're so heavily invested in estimating quantity surveying, right? That and estimating's been so, I guess, fundamental right now in the market. There's been loads of demand, blah blah blah. But we're speaking to estimating managers. We're speaking to group estimating, directors, and so for them, estimating so
of course,
important.
that's
but
the
go
world.
and speak to friggin' Jerry, the GM, or the project director. He's going to be like, no chance, mate. We're the most important.
Yeah, of course, everyone's gonna hold their value in higher esteem or whatever. But really, who's bringing the work to the business? Who's winning the jobs?
See, that's the thing. This is where people's egos come in because even the estimator can win the job, right? Or effectively go, I'm pricing the whole thing, putting in that final number. But I still don't think that the estimator will be like, yeah, I won that job. I think it would be like the GM are going, yeah, we won that job.
Or the company won that job.
Yeah, no, I think they would take a lot of the recognition for it, or you'll have an estimating manager there or a pre-con manager who'll say, yeah, wait, I won that job.
Yeah.
What
do you think? I had a row with someone recently because I'd said, PMs or delivery teams sometimes get like delivery bonuses if it's on time or under budget or something. Do you think estimators should be getting like win rate bonuses or like ratio or conversion bonuses?
I would definitely say a win bonus should be associated.
It was an estimator that I had a row with that said that we shouldn't. He said, why should we? And I was like,
why should you get a bonus for winning?
Yeah.
It's like you getting a commission for placing someone though, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was like, well,
I wish there was more people like you. Or like him.
Yeah, like him.
Yeah.
But I think that's great as an extra incentive as well. Well, because I mean, obviously conversions are different, but like, say you're a 1 to 4, 1 to 5, whatever it is.
What about estimators go commission only? That would be unbelievable, wouldn't it?
They'd be all over it then.
What about if they were to go, say average salary just for talk's sake is 200k, right? But what happens if they were getting a win rate bonus and they took a salary of like 160, but their win rate bonus means they're probably going to get an extra 100k that year? I don't know. Do they price their bonus into the bid? You know what I mean, for an extra 20 on it? You know what I mean?
But what about we spoke with a with a pretty excitable guy last week, a couple of weeks ago, who basically discredited all estimating software.
Who's that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And he just thinks it was just strip it all back and just
go pure Excel.
Pure Excel.
But from what I know is that they're all basically just
version of or built upon.
Do you know there's an Excel like Olympics?
Yeah, and it's
did we speak about this before?
It's on TV.
Mate,
Excel Championships or something. It's absolutely geeked out. It's unbelievable.
We need to be sponsoring that type of stuff. Fact, like I want to be involved in really weird stuff. You know the way like big construction companies will sponsor like Origin, or sponsor football teams. I want to be sponsoring like Excel champions.
Yeah,
the Geddon Excel
like
champion.
Red Bull cliff diving.
Yeah, fact. Because imagine sitting there like I have, and I mean this with all sincerity, I have zero interest in anything to do with Excel or numbers or anything like that. Like I am not that guy at all. I don't even know how I've ended up doing this. Like in reality, it's weird. Like, but you know what? There's no leadership in estimating, and that's what I've noticed is that there's no one, flying the flag or being the beacon for them. And QSing is a bit different.
It is a bit different because there's a couple of good advocates out there for it.
And at the same time, like if you leave Australia, like it's so big internationally that it's like, yeah, we need a QS and like QS can do so much for us. Where in Australia, it's like a QS is like just like it's very niche and narrow in what they're focusing on. So, but the estimating side of things, like there's no one out there being like, yeah, we've got the estimators back, but I want to get involved in some weird stuff. Like we were taking a brief yesterday from a client, and they were like, yeah, we've got an unreal guy in here. He's brilliant, and he's a gamer. And he basically estimates all day, goes home, games all night, gets about 2 hours sleep, and then comes back in the next day. I'm like, that's what I want from my estimating team. Like,
happy outside.
You know what I mean? You're like, and also, right, if you're an estimator, you know when someone's an estimator, don't you? Like,
100%.
They're carrying usually a big friggin'
oversized bag,
filled with Red Bull.
Very little else in it.
Yeah, very little in it, apart from, just like a few designs and they're always a bit stressed out as well. They're always a bit on the pump. And I don't want to feel like it is annoying that there isn't a bit more like recognition, a bit more just a bit more flexibility, just a bit more of like effort put into managing the profession, because the appreciation isn't there at all.
Definitely not.
At all. It might be changing slightly. It depends on who. Like what I find is that if you're maybe say like an estimator QS and then you've ended up in like general management in some capacity, then that company might have an appreciation of what the pre-con team does. But if you're coming from like a typical delivery route and you're a GM or something like that, usually it's just so overlooked.
Yeah.
But like,
we need to get another event for the estimators. It's been a while since we had a lot of them in a room together for a bit of crack, a bit of a catch up.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Yeah, I think we're going to do one in August. I think that's the plan. Do one in August. Yeah. But yeah, it's a role that's evolving. It's a role that's offering a lot of opportunity. The demand is there. There's no travel involved with estimating as well. Like a lot of these infrastructure roles that we're getting, they're basically saying, get me an engineer who has done 10 years in engineering and just doesn't want to travel anymore.
Yeah.
And you're going, well, that's a good option. That's a good opportunity for someone.
But there is an openness now, isn't there, with estimating and companies where they get their estimator from, whether it's a PE, a PM, a QS, sometimes a cost planner, if they want maybe a big enough business where they can be absorbed and learnt and taught the ways. So I think it's becoming more open as to how you get into estimating, and I think that's only going to get better as well.
See, I'm thinking of trying to get all the estimating managers that I know in a big like group and talking about how to start like an estimating / cost cadetship. And I mean, I'm completely underqualified to talk about this. I have no idea. I don't even know how it would all come together. But at the same time, what happens is you get a cadet, and the cadet will go and do 3 months in estimating, 3 months in CA, 3 months as a PM, and then they go, on site's just way better, and they basically go, I just want to be on site, and so they'll work as a CA or a PM. That's 90% of them, and so what you nearly need them to do is you nearly need to get them from like a specific course, right? Say it's quantity surveying, and even though it's harder to find good QSs, or even if it's mature people, like we forget about that as well. Like you'll get guys who are maybe 30 and go, I want a different career. I don't want to be doing this. And so they're quite often way more committed than someone who's 21, 22 and is going to piss off to go backpacking in a couple of years. Yeah. So we need to get them in, right? And we need to go, your job will be in quantity surveying or estimating or something similar to that. And you're getting exposure to these areas of the market. May it be the site engineering side or the project management side, but you're coming back. Yeah. So, it's like a boomerang. You're having to come back. Leash. You don't get to go, I'm going to become, I'm working as a cadetship for 2 years and then I'm going to become a PM. That's completely fine, but that's where everyone's going.
Guys, I'm interrupting this podcast today to give you some information as to what I actually do every single day. So I own and operate a business called Getting Executive Recruitment. We're a specialist boutique recruitment company, and we specialize purely in the pre-construction and commercial construction markets globally. We're really well known, respected for our work in estimating, cost management, quantity surveying, and contract administration. Because we're hyper niche, we don't have millions of candidates. We don't really even have thousands, but more times than not, we have the right candidate for the right job at the right time. Unlike a lot of recruitment agents out there, we are super experienced in what we do. We understand the market, we understand what makes our clients tick, and our candidates tick too. Each and every single assignment we work on undergoes an extensive executive search process. It's robust and it works 100% of the time. We've also got a team of 5 researchers who map our markets out globally within our niche. They're amazing. They allow us to work fast, which saves our clients time and money too. So if you're interested in our process, drop us a message. Now back to the episode.
Everyone's going down that route to effectively go see APM.
Yeah.
And then what happens is they just never come back. And so we need to go, how do we get these guys to go, get some exposure to that, but come back into estimating or come back into project management?
Yeah, that's true. But then you have, I suppose it's the same issue. You go through that program, maybe that cadetship, nurturing them to become an estimator, and then they go somewhere else.
They get
and take it with them.
They get picked up and go as an estimator. They get picked up
as an estimator, because then they have that side experience. They understand construction. Because how many times do we hear now, estimator, they need to come from site. They need to come from site.
Yeah, I think. But it's true. I have written a blog. It is about like how site foremen and estimators effectively like the unlikely duo, because effectively the site foreman runs the project, is the eyes and ears of the job. And so they know everything from the subbies, the plan, what's going on the day-to-day basis. And like a young, impressionable cadet will learn a lot from them. And, they might not be able to go, I'm a qualified carpenter or qualified in this, but they might be able to take a lot of their knowledge and bring that back into estimating. And also they're building that sort of connection where they can go, hey, Jimmy, I've got this issue. What do you think about this? And be able to give them that sort of like technical information.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like another company can come in and poach them and take them back. And you probably will find that they will be prime meat at that point. Because the reality of it is like, they've done all that crappy work. The company has given them all that exposure, and then some other company's going to want to come in and be like, let's take them now.
But then you have a company who's taught them their ways, which is the way that they do things or how they estimate, and that might not necessarily transition to the next company as well, which is something, So
I think if you're young, like if you're at the start of your career, and if someone's going to say to you, you're going to go and do a 2-year cost cadetship program, and then you're coming back in, and then you're going to kick off your career in cost management or estimating. At that point, you probably want to commit 4 years with that company at least. You get through that 2 years of cadetship, and then the 2 years of the cost sort of apprenticeship nearly, and then you're leaving with 4 years with that company. Then you're a lot more valuable doing another business. You've shown a bit of integrity, a bit of loyalty. But if you're like going for that cadetship and then you leave and you take another job and you're there 6 months and then you're moved somewhere else, your career's obviously, it just doesn't look good from the outset. So
maybe businesses could maybe tie it in with like maybe subsidizing their studies or something like that, or like paying part of their uni degrees or something like that to stay with them for the duration, or something
even
like that.
even if they like a bonus scheme, so like for each year that they complete, they get
holiday to Ibiza.
Imagine holiday to Barron. Let's go.
Estimators in Ibiza.
But
some holiday.
Every year they get an extra 10k. Or so, I'm not saying 10, but you know what I mean. Like it might be 5, it might be 10, it might be, they have to show key aspects of what's important, and like maybe it's showing loyalty to the career, the profession. Maybe they have to do things outside of that. Maybe join networking groups. They have to basically prove, not just by working, that they're invested in that cost and estimating career as a whole. it could be anything. They could start their own podcast. It's like getting points towards being like an accredited person. You know,
showing you're all in
or all out. Yeah. So yeah, we have to do stuff because in the next 10 years, the amount of people that's going to retire is just going to be obscene.
Dropping off big
obscene.
time.
There's only 651 estimators in Australia with more than 10 years experience.
In every single sector.
That's from energy, transmission lines, infrastructure, building, residential, fit out, everything.
Yeah.
651.
And well, in Australia, that's probably not helped with. I don't know if we discussed this before. Actually, the visa changes. With I can't remember what numbers it is for, whatever it is, but you could come and study, and then you're given like a 24-month post-study visa to try and get a role, and then from there you maybe have 2 years local experience. That's now scrapped.
Yeah,
which the people that come in from overseas to study and do a masters and stuff, they make up a huge percentage of the workforce in construction.
Universities, I might be wrong, but I'm nearly sure that universities is in the top 5 income generators for all of Australia.
No way.
Yeah, so that's why they were so heavily not penalised, but they struggled so much during COVID because they couldn't get any international students, because international students are paying nearly like 100 grand a year or something
more
nuts.
than locals. Yeah,
they got 30 grand.
That's a real shame, because some of them people come here. Some of them might come here with 1 year in their mind, master's degree, go home, but some of them actually love it.
Yeah, and most of them will stay, but you'll find that they're all going to go to Canada. They're all going to go. Canada's got and Australia nearly have this sort of. It's either one or the other, isn't it? It's either Canada, Australia, New Zealand, right? And so you see a lot of Canadians in New Zealand, but you see loads of Irish, Kiwis, UK, in Canada.
Yeah.
Similarly, a lot of Irish and UK in Australia. So you're basically those 3 countries are in competition.
Yeah.
But they're in competition of bringing in the smartest people. It's not like you're bringing in, a bunch of idiots. You know what I mean? Like you're bringing in people who are studying, who are going to be contributing massively to the economy. They're effectively, usually quite often going to stay there.
Yeah.
Get I guess a job, contribute to the economy again. But now, if Australia's sort of looking at that, going, we're rolling that back. What it does is, one, it probably increases the demand for resources.
Yeah.
But it's such a double-edged sword, because they're having so many issues with housing. Like your housing waiting lists are just unprecedented at the moment. You're going up to a rental and there's 200 people there trying to get it. When me and Amanda were living in Australia, there was a house in Coorparoo in Brisbane, right? And it was a nice house, and I think it was cheap enough. It was like $650 a week, and there must have been 150 people there.
I remember doing something similar. Like it was a Saturday morning. It was queued around the block.
Yeah, it was queued around the block, and I remember we offered them $120 a week, and they still said no.
Jesus Christ!
They said no, and we were a couple. It's not like
probably you had a bad haircut that day.
Probably, yeah. But
I think I've seen the news there a couple of weeks ago that there's still the rest of this year. There still needs to be nearly 400,000 homes to be built in not regional, but suburbia, Sydney, New South Wales, those areas. 400,000 homes still need to be built this year to hit target, to hit a quota.
Yeah.
That's insane.
400, that's 500,000
to be built this year.
There's never built
or maybe not homes, but to house that amount of people.
But the homelessness crisis in Australia now is getting pretty bad. When I moved to Australia in 2019, honestly, in Brisbane, you wouldn't notice. It wouldn't be noticeable that there was homeless.
Yeah.
And now you go down along the riverbank, and there is literally towns, not full on towns, but there's just tents everywhere.
Yeah. We went for a run along
the river,
the West End.
Yeah.
And it was
it would easily be 200 tents.
Yeah. It's like Skid Row.
It's nuts, isn't it?
It was.
It is so weird. It's so strange to see, but that's why I'm Australia has got to be careful, because it is nearly like the United States of Australia, that if they continue to go down this route, it will end up being like you go to America, and every city has insane problems with homelessness, and it's not attractive. It's not attractive for developers, not attractive for new people coming in living there. And Australia's got a massively aged population, so the only way it's going to increase its population size, which it means its economy as well, is through immigration. That's the only way. So, rather tricky one. How long have we done there, guy?
And just over an hour now. Hour 2 minutes.
Perfect. We'll maybe leave that one, and we'll grab a quick coffee and come back.
Yeah. Great.
Cool.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Joe Biden's got COVID.
Oh, no.
He cancelled.
Before you go today, guys, I'm just going to ask you to do one thing. Can you please go to Apple right now or Spotify right now and just give us those 5 stars? Hit that 5-star button. It makes such a difference you wouldn't believe. The whole idea of this show is to inspire, educate, and motivate our listeners. And we only do that if we're getting the best guests. The best guests want to see data. They want to see information. They want to see how many listeners that we get. And so all of this stuff is really, really important. So if you can just literally go and do that today, if you enjoy the show, just go and hit that 5-star button. It makes such a difference. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We're going to continue to push this out there every Monday. So if you can, hit that 5-star button. And if you can't, even share it with a friend. Go on to WhatsApp, flick it on to your crew. Guys, thank you so much for listening. On to next week.